In January 2005, Sibel and her lawyers won partial declassification of the Justice Department's internal report into her case. The report partially endorsed her claims. While it did not disclose the content of the FBI's wiretaps, for Sibel it still represented a victory. It upheld her credibility. Ann Beeson and Ben Weisner prepared Sibel for her appeal.
It's going to be a very exciting week next week. Are you prepared?
Countdown.
Oh.
Also in 2005, Sibel's name was mentioned for the first time in a book. Paul Sperry, a journalist, had investigated Islamist networks in the United States. He took a new look at Sibel's case. Sperry was the first to name the organization on whose behalf the Dickersons had tried to recruit Sibel. It was a Washington-based lobby group, the American Turkish Council, or ATC.
The chairman of the American Turkish Council. Are we ready to run that? And we'll serve the dessert at the same time.
The ATC's offices are on 14th Street in Washington, D.C. It holds its annual conference across town in the Mandarin Oriental Hotel.
Turkey. This is modern Turkey.
The aim of the ATC is to promote business between Turkey and the United States.
Geographically, connecting Asia to Europe and the Middle East to Africa strengthens Turkey as a center of intercontinental information, technology, communications, and finance.
America is honored to call Turkey an ally.
Turkey's role as an energy corridor for oil and natural gas, and the country's cultural connections increase Turkey's power in the region.
At the conference, oil magnates and defense contractors rub shoulders with Turkish and American soldiers and diplomats.
We have a very well-working strategic partnership. This is a very strong relationship.
One does need to look at the close connections that exist between the United States and Turkey and the important place that Turkey occupies in US foreign policy in several respects as a customer for armament systems. And of course you look at the people who are on the board of the American Turkish Council, and it's almost like a who's who of some of the big American weapons corporations.
Boeing, General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, United Technologies, BAE Systems. 7 of the world's leading arms corporations sit on the ATC board. Their annual turnover is $220 billion, equivalent to almost half the military budget of the United States, or all of Europe's put together, and Turkey is a prized customer.
Trade is a key part of this.
Here, Turkish officers and diplomats use their influence on their Washington friends to finesse sensitive security issues. Although 80% of the Turkish arsenal is American-made, the Turkish military resents the fact that some weapon systems are denied them. The FBI, aware of this, began wiretapping the ATC in 1997. The FBI employed Melik Dickerson without knowing that she had worked for the ATC. Clearly, she was still doing so when she tried to recruit Sibel. But what was so compromising about the wiretap conversations that Sibel had been working on?
The people that I've talked to about these tapes are extremely nervous.
The 23rd of April, 2005, the day of Sibel's appeal. She and her lawyers cited the First Amendment to the Constitution, which guarantees freedom of speech. They sought to have state secrets privilege overturned once and for all. But the lawyers didn't even get the chance to plead her case.
A series of specific questions for each side. There was no argument.
Yes, they excluded us.
Good morning, afternoon, what is it? Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Beeson. I'm the Associate Legal Director of the American Civil Liberties Union. As you all know, we just had an argument inside the courthouse in Sibel Edmonds' case against the Department of Justice. The court did, as you all know, because you've been out here, close the courtroom for the argument.
We went in there. We had about, 3-4 minutes. And then we were kicked out, and they spent another 10-12 minutes with the government attorneys. We don't know what they talked about, but we will be waiting for their decision.
It's clear that it should go forward because the Justice Department's own Inspector General concluded that her allegations were fully supported and that the FBI terminated her services because she made them.
Look, when the Attorney General came initially and invoked the state secret privilege, okay, he cited two reasons: to protect certain sensitive diplomatic relations and to protect certain foreign business relations of the United States. Now, they are saying that whole information, everything, is classified. We don't know what diplomatic relations they are referring to. They must be ashamed of it because they don't want to mention it. So we have certain diplomatic relations that prevents criminals being, prosecuted here. And I'm talking about the criminals in the United States of America, American citizens. I'm not referring to only foreigners. That's your fight too. As much as it is my fight, it's not only for whistleblowers. It's your fight too.
I like to be in America, okay, by me in America. Everything free in America, or us not be in America.
A few days after the hearing, the judgment was given. Sibel lost her appeal. Her lawyers now considered Sibel to be the most gagged citizen in American history. Only one avenue remained open to her: the Supreme Court. When Sibel began working for the FBI, she was 32. She was now 36. On the 3rd of August 2005, Vanity Fair published David Rose's article. Sibel's story was splashed across the newsstands.
I remember I wrote the pitch, the memo, suggesting the article like it was a film thing. So I said, Act 1, there's Sibel, this brave Turkish American, she wants to do the right thing. Then to her horror, she discovers some kind of spy. And then Act 2 is the terrible things happen to her. She gets fired and she gets victimized and so forth. And then Act 3 is her fight back. And I said it ends with the article being published in Vanity Fair, and then suddenly she gets a ticker tape parade through New York and everyone thinks she's a national hero. Of course, that bit hasn't happened yet. What Sibel told congressional investigators was that there had been investigations